So you've been getting hate and people were jealous of you even back then. How do you
Hurts
handle...
to be pretty, girl. No, I'm just kidding. No.
I know that's right. Cheers to that.
No. Cheers.
Oh my God, that is so good. Hey guys, welcome back to It Hurts to Be Pretty podcast. I am thrilled to have my very dear friend, my confidant, and she's no secret to the podcast, by the way. She is the former co-host of Daily Blast Live. She is the host of the podcast called
Accidentally Informed. Were we talking about that one? Okay.
Yes, Accidentally Informed, which is pretty new.
Yeah, it's co-hosted with Claudia Jordan. Yeah, it's almost a year old.
And also a now business owner.
Yeah.
So I have so much to talk about because I feel like 2025 has been a year for both of us.
It has been.
It has been a year. I'm gonna take a little sip to that because we've been doing the things.
Yeah, so much so that Angel is moving 55 million miles an hour. My name is Erica Cobb, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm like, you guys know Erica. I forgot to introduce her whole name. Listen, she's used to hosting, not me.
No.
So she's gonna go ahead and take over the show. Thank you. Good night. No, this is Erica Cobb. I feel like you guys know her. I always post about her. She's truly, truly one of my great, great friends. So
I just love you.
I love you too, and I can call you whenever, and I love that about you, but I love that we can take it way back from 2014 to let the people know how we met just briefly.
Mm-hmm.
I was networking. You were there. We were both going through a divorce, and we just clicked.
Yeah.
We just clicked, and we have been friends ever since.
Yeah.
We won't get into details that she tried to set me up with her husband.
Yes. Well, before he was my husband.
Before,
or
yes.
a boyfriend or anything.
Yes. And ever since then, we just kind of clicked, to be honest.
Yeah.
So welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. I am so excited to be here.
You look great, by the way.
You look great.
You look
I mean, I feel like when Angel tells me I look great, then she's kind of giving herself a compliment because
her skin is so good.
I mean, I was at the Broncos game last week and this girl just came up to me and she grabbed my arm and she's like staring at my face. And she's like, your skin. And I was like, mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, but please don't touch my face because you're touching everything else. But thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
That would be weird if someone touched your face.
People do. People do it.
That's weird.
People love to touch me. I don't know if it's because I am like...
You're soft.
I don't, and I'm very like sensitive to that.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like when I tell you the tortoise story, when the tortoise kept trying to come to me because none of the other kids in the zoology class like wanted to touch it. So it just kept coming to me. That's how people are with touching me. It's very strange.
Yeah. It's weird. It's your light. It's your energy.
Thank you.
But I can see why you would be sensitive to touch too, because then that drains you from your energy.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's get into it because last time you were here, I think that Daily Blast Live was going through the transition. I can't remember, but briefly just kind of explain to the people, you got the news that Daily Blast Live was being canceled.
Correct. So, oh my God, it feels like a million years ago because it's been about a year and a half at this point.
It does seem longer, by the way.
Think so. We were notified in June of 2024 that the show was coming to an end in September of 2024. And I had just done the live show with Karamo Brown. And so it was weird because we were talking about like how Karamo got Queer Eye, which is the reason why he decided not to do Daily Blast Live, which really opened up the door for me and like my personality to be on Daily Blast Live. So I was like, we were just like, it was just divine alignment. And we were like cheersing to that. And literally like 3 days later, we got the news that the show was canceled. And so...
Wait, I remember that. Just so you know, when you called me, you had sent me a text and you said, it's being canceled. Yeah. And I remember my heart dropped. But I also remember you just being okay. Like,
yeah.
One thing about Erica, the fire could be, the house is burning behind her, and she's like, everything is gonna be okay. It's all part of God's plan. And I'm like, wait, hold on, we gotta. Like, you just have that energy where you know, even if you're in a panic, you don't show it.
Yeah, I'm very it's manifested in a lot of different ways. Like my house was broken into, I was in the shower, the man was on my property, and I just got very, very calm. Like that's just if something's happening, I go like flat. Like I'm not like
Panic.
there's a fire. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, what do I need to do next? Like so much so that the police department actually posted about it, like how to do a 911 call.
Oh my
Like-
God.
Which I'm glad I can like laugh about it now, but it's because I'm just like all of a sudden these survival skills just come up like, okay, this is what happens when this happens. So yeah, to be honest about it, I know that was a lot in like a very short period of time of information. But yeah, when I first booked DBL, and you'll remember this, I knew that this was happening before I saw the posting. And then I also knew when I saw the posting that I was going to get this job. I actually did. I booked my flight. I booked my hotel because I knew the audition was in LA. And I said, this is my color purple. I'm going to LA and I'm coming back with this job in Denver. So when we started it, I had already gone through my setback season. That's how I started Comeback with Erica Cobb. And so I was very prepared for this opportunity, but I was also prepared that this opportunity wasn't meant to be forever. They only guaranteed us 12 weeks. So 12 weeks would have been a success. 7 years is a complete cycle. So around season 2, I started preparing for the show to be canceled.
Okay, let's talk about that though, because let's not brush that over. I just know that when things happen, you got to always prepare. All things come to an end. Nothing is forever, right? So I love that you prepared for what is to come. That's why you didn't panic when it did get canceled, because you, in your mind, you are already prepping. Not that because some people could say, well, you're saying that it's gonna end, and you're kind of mentally saying that, and that's why it happened. That's not what happened.
No. Right.
That's not what happened. So go ahead. Sorry, you were preparing for it 2 years in.
Right. What I was preparing for was I knew I was in a cycle, and every cycle has to come to an end. I think it's poetic that it was 7 years, 7 seasons is wildly successful. But I'm glad that you brought that up, because it wasn't that I was putting energy out there that the show was being canceled. The reason why I was very clear that this format was coming to an end is because you could look around and see the talk was canceled. The Chew was canceled. The Real was canceled. And it was because that format of panel shows was coming to an end the same way that when I was doing morning radio in Chicago, Denver, Sacramento, that format of morning radio was coming to an end in the way that we knew it. So it's just pattern recognition. And I'm very into recognizing patterns. So I was just preparing for what was happening in the industry and what was inevitable.
Okay, so you got the call. You know it's coming to an end. You've been preparing for this. Maybe some of the other co-hosts were a little bit of a panic. I know them personally, and I knew that some of them were. However, what did you think? Like, what is plan B? Did you sit down? Like, how does Erica, when you get that information and it's the morning of, and you wake up and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to not have a job in 2 months.
Yeah. So actually they gave us 3 months. Like our situation, and again, I am speaking specifically for myself.
Okay.
And, and respectfully to anyone else involved,
Sure.
like everyone has their own story. I'm going to tell mine.
Yeah.
And it was, to me, one, I did feel taken care of in regard to how I had been treated with past employers. They gave us 3 months notice. We got a package. And that's something I hadn't experienced since I was let go from my morning radio job in Chicago with CBS Radio back in like 2008. Like I got fairly decently taken care of. But then I got to Denver, Sacramento. It was just like, you were fired. You're done. Like there's no reason. See you never. And good luck with, your finances, whatever. So getting that type of like lead in, I had already applied for the Goldman Sachs program powered by NYU Stern. And I had applied for that in May. So that was the month before we found out. But the crazy part was our last show was September 6th. Our first day of orientation in New York for Goldman Sachs was September 9th. So I immediately left the studio at Daily Blast Live, hopped on a flight to New York, happened to be there for Fashion Week for the weekend. So that was like a nice thing for me and Jeray, who's been on the show, who's been my makeup artist for 8+ years.
Yes.
So we went together to New York, did the New York Fashion Week thing, and then they literally, Jeray, his partner, and his friend Kyle, who's also a makeup artist, dropped me off at my first day of school at Goldman Sachs headquarters.
Bye, pumpkin.
They walked me to the shuttle bus.
Let us know when you need us to pick you up. Okay, honey?
That's what happened. And that was like literally the transition.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I knew that I was going to be able to do all of that with DBL. I don't know if I thought about that, but I did know that whatever was coming, I needed to be prepared for it. And this was a program that took founders and gave you a good pathway to be a CEO. So at that point, I'm like, oh, okay. So I have this company.
Mm-hmm.
I have people who work with me as independent contractors.
Which is the company Comeback?
Comeback TV presents. And that's the production company that put on all my live shows with Claudia Jordan and Karamo Brown over the years. It's the company that was together for when I was nominated for NAACP Image Awards, like when I'm traveling, Essence, Ebony, like I have been with this team, or this team has been with me for at least 5 years at this point. Yeah. So now we're in a situation where we're all laid off, and I'm like, I have this idea, we're going to transition this way.
So transitioning to every day, getting ready just like you are right now, gorgeous, on TV. I remember you guys used to do 3 shows in a day live.
More than that.
Yeah, it was something crazy. And I'm like, this girl has to be on every single day. To now going back to school. Mm-hmm. And you're transitioning into a CEO.
Yeah.
How has that been for you? Like in a year and a half?
Yeah.
Just like thrown, just boom, go. CEO.
Yeah, it's crazy to think because I never really had time to think about what was happening. I was going with, I'm very spiritually like tapped in, and I feel like sometimes I'm just hearing things, or I'm driven to go in a certain direction, and I just find that to be obedience to the call. And the confirmation of that is when it works out, and it works out in that type of divine timing. So I'm always just kind of like listening, and when spirit moves me, I move.
No, talk more about that, because one thing about you is she'll call me, okay? She's called me. And so this is just recently, and I won't go into the whole story because it's personal, but we're not the type of friends, we're really close, but we're not the type of friends that are like, hey girl, what are you doing right now? Hey, what are you doing later? Oh, what are you doing? Oh my God, that's crazy. We're not that.
Right.
But I can go to her house on Sunday and chill all day if I wanted to. Yeah. We're those kind of friends. So when she's calling me back to back, I was like, okay, she's probably butt dialing me. And then I woke up to more calls, and I'm like, okay, Cobb's calling me. What the heck is going on? You are very intuitive, and you're in tune with the spirit. And so sometimes when you need to say something, like when did that happen? This is a side note. This is not part of my questions, but when did you start to notice that gift? Because I feel like it is a gift, by the way.
Yeah. So this is interesting because I don't generally talk about this. And I don't want this to, people can call it whatever it is. I don't choose to like really name those types of things. I think it's a very, it's something that I'm honored to just be like quiet enough to feel. And when I'm right, it's just confirmation that this is something that might be bigger than me. I had a conversation with my mom like maybe a week or so ago, and she was telling me, she's like, I will just never forget. There was a day I woke up and I told her, Mom, I can't go to school. And she's like, no, you're going to school. And I was like, okay, I can't go to school. And then she was like, you're going to school. I was like, okay, but I can't take the bus. And she's like, there's no reason why you can't take the bus. And I was like, I think I'm going to die today.
That's what you
Like,
said to her?
yeah. I was like, if I take the bus, I'm going to die. And she was like, what? I was 16. And she was like, you were just freaking out so badly that I was like, I don't know what's wrong with this girl, but I'm just going to drive her to school. And I got to school and I walked up to the third floor and there were these two girls there. And they said something to me as I was walking by. And when I turned around to ask, like what, because I was like running late. So I was running down the thing and I turned around. And as I turned around, the girl took my bangs and hit my head up against the brick wall. And I slid down the wall and they dragged me all across the floor. It took 8 teachers to get them off of me. Excuse me. And they were like screaming like, you black Barbie, this, you that, you think you're better than us, like all of this stuff. And they were like slamming teachers and it was like a huge thing. They cracked 2 of my ribs. I had a concussion.
I've never known this story.
Yeah. I had a concussion. I was in the hospital for a little under 24 hours because they had to break with all the x-rays that it took. Like, I mean, scratches, contusions, like they messed me up really badly. Wow. And I remember being on the ground and I was like, I had my hands over my face, but I could see myself on the ground. Like I was hovering above everything, watching everything that happened. Mm-hmm. So it was like a very strange out-of-body experience because I knew who all of the teachers were. I knew, like, I saw them drag the girls. I saw the Mr. Graham, I'll never forget, was my social studies teacher. And he dragged me by my feet into the teacher's lounge and closed the door. But I wouldn't have been able to see that. Like, I knew who did what because there was just this, like, out-of-body thing that happened. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, so I would say that was probably one of the first times, like, in my memory that I knew something was off. And I didn't have any reason to think that. Like, nothing had happened.
Like, you weren't being bullied prior. Like,
right.
Yeah. Okay, that was what grade?
I was 16, so junior?
Like,
yeah, sophomore, junior, yeah.
So you've been getting hate and people were jealous of you even back then. How do you handle...
Hurts to be pretty, girl. No, I'm just kidding.
No. I know that's right. Here, cheers to that.
No, sure.
Oh my God, that is so good. You've been getting hate ever since then.
Yeah.
How does Erica handle because I've seen comments on your page, just people can be jealous of your success. People can be jealous of your light. How do you handle that?
I grew up in a family or like a culture that you didn't say that people were jealous of you. Mm. Like it wasn't something that, there's other things. But I think that has been a disservice to a lot of people because you need to be able to identify what's happening in order to understand how to combat it. And I was never like, it's crazy to me that I have ended up in positions where I'm forward facing because I was never that girl. Like I never saw myself as that girl. Mm. And it was mainly because I was constantly told since I was a child that I wasn't that girl, which was crazy to me because I never thought I was. Like it's like being like, you're not green. You're not green. You're not green. You think you green. Like, you're like, I never thought about being green. Like, what is going on here? Like, why are you so angry with me?
Yeah. Why are you mean? What's like, going on?
What is like you, because here's the truth at 44 that I did not understand before is that people are always highlighting and identifying your gifts. Now, are your quote unquote looks your gifts? Yeah, to a lot of people they are, but it's not really like the symmetry of your face.
Mm-hmm.
It's more the glow or the light that you carry.
Yep.
And that's what people are attracted to, either for good or for evil.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I've just never, I feel very blessed to live this life that I have had, the time where I was, two girls decided they wanted to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very blessed to have had the experiences of, having things happen against me, because now I have the ability to look at a lot of things in this world through a 360 lens, when a lot of the vitriol that comes towards me is 180.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this empathy factor for people, because I'm like, when I was broken, when I was broke, when I was in a hospital bed, when I was unemployed, all of these things, I see you because I was you.
Mm-hmm.
But what you don't understand is that your attacks on me are because you think that you will never have the other 180, but you could. And so there's this like push and pull. Now, don't get me wrong. There comes a time where my empathy is only so great.
Yeah.
Okay. It's only so great. And that's the thing. I'm also an Aquarius. So I'm always like, I am cool. I will help you. I will give you the shirt off my back, but be mean to me.
Mm-hmm.
Go out of your way to do some F stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have a reason, because I don't go around doling out, stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but give me a reason.
Yeah.
You will get it. You will get it for everybody. Okay.
I've seen that side, by the way.
Yeah. And it's not vengeance. It's not vengeful,
No.
but I've heard it described as like psychological warfare, because I just go quiet. I go quiet with my offerings. I go quiet with what I'm going to say to you. I go completely quiet.
Yeah, I noticed that about you. You do go quiet a little bit, but it's not a weird quiet. It's it's interesting. Okay, so let's go back to the transition. So with all that, you're in a position now as a CEO. So from TV to CEO, and then in the mix, you started your podcast with Claudia Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're doing you have multiple hats, by the way.
Yeah.
How the hell are you handling all of this in a year and a half?
I hope I'm handling it well.
Yeah.
You were talking about how long we have been friends and known each other. And I think that's another thing about like the dynamic of our friendship.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have a couple other mutuals who kind of fit into that same category.
Mm-hmm.
Not very many, but like, there's a little team there. And what I appreciate about you and being your friend for a decade plus is that I saw you build. And I saw where you started. And so when I'm thinking of like, my transition to the CEO founder space, I have a different understanding and appreciation for what it takes to be a founder, CEO, business owner. And I know that because of my platform and my background in media, there are several steps I was able to leverage in order to get my company to a place that, if I was starting out just as a business owner, wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But a lot of that too is because you've been so transparent with your climb and the grind and the setbacks and all of those things, that a lot of that is I'm very perceptive. Like I want to learn from people. I want to be inspired. And you have definitely been an inspiration to me because, well, it's true. I mean, like when we've told the story a million times, but I used to come to see you in a closet.
Yeah.
And now we're in this museum. Like we were literally in a museum that you own. It's like, every time I walk in here, it just gives me chills. Like, what? Oh, girl.
I know, it's crazy.
So yeah, so I'm actively learning. And that was the great thing about this program is that for Goldman Sachs is that I got to take the things that I saw from you, from our girl Melly at Mainstream, all of these amazing women who have built from the bottom and gotten to the top. And it's just, incredible.
Squizzy and I were talking last week and we were talking about mentors. And he posted, he said a while back, and he got slack for it, but he doesn't let just anyone mentor him or talk to him. And people are like, oh, you can learn from everyone. And I was like, I agree with you. You can learn from everyone, but it is so true. There are a handful of people that I allow that get to speak into my life because I have to protect my energy. And if I can't look up to you in some way, and I look up to you in different ways, and I feel like you can call me and say, I don't like the way you handled this, or you should start off your podcast differently. I'm going to be so open, and we're saying this, if Susie down the street, who's just being a critic and just being judgmental, but has nothing, and I can't look up to her, I don't care what Susie has to say.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what Susie has to say. And poor Susie, we just picked that damn name. But
yeah, Susie, we love you, girl. Just don't start yapping if you can't. If you don't walk it like you talk it.
I don't even know who Susie is. We just picked that name, so it's not towards anybody.
Yeah.
But again, it goes to show, like, not just anyone can speak into my life. I'm sure you feel the same way. Very few people can give me constructive criticism, but you can learn from everyone.
I agree. You can learn from everyone, but sometimes what you're learning is not to do what they did. Mm-hmm. And that is something that I was very transparent about when I first launched Comeback in 2016, because I made so many mistakes. And if I can warn people, don't touch that stove, it's hot, I will do it every time. Now, a lot of people have to touch the stove. That's just the way life is.
Yeah.
But you bring up an interesting point about Susie. Because I have experienced a few Susies in my life, and they want to tell me, like, you need to take advice. You need to, dictating what I should be doing. And I'm like, Susie, again.
I'm telling you.
Poor Susie.
This bitch.
Yeah, I'm like, Susie, I do appreciate what you're saying. I have, in my case now, I have a business advisor. I have a mentor. I have my mentor does, like, she negotiates the type of volume and numbers that my clients that I'm working with are doing. And so I have a lot of advisors. But if you think because I didn't listen to you respectfully, it's because you haven't demonstrated anything in your life or world that gives you an expertise. If I'm just listening to everyone who wants to say something to me, people talk to me all day and night. Like, I open up my phone, people are talking to me when I'm sleeping. Okay?
I've seen the comments.
Yes.
I've seen the comments.
I need to exercise discernment. So when people try to force me into, this is what you should be doing, but you don't have a body of work behind you that tells me that you're the right person to listen to, I can't listen to you. And if you want to be forceful about that, then I also can't be close to you. That's just, it's a very hard line. I think what people need to understand about, like, because you've told me things like, and just constructive criticism, and I've given you constructive criticism. And I think the reason why it works for us is because when it comes to friendship, I think we both lean a little bit more into our masculine energy. And so a lot of female friendships lean very heavily into the feminine energy. And when that happens, a lot of times women will mistake the role of their friends for the role of their significant other. I should not be in that space that you should reserve for your intimate partner or significant other.
Yeah.
When you're in a friendship and your alignment is leaning more into that masculine energy a bit, then we have harder boundaries for what friendship is and the role that we play in each other's lives.
Whew, love it. I can listen to her all day. Okay, I want to know, what have you learned this year? What's been your biggest lesson?
Ooh, my biggest lesson. Gosh, there's been so many lessons.
A lot has happened in a year and a half, but
yeah,
what stands out to you? I mean, you could say more than one.
Yeah, I think And I've been very open about this, like on my platforms and stuff. But I think that I have always had a maternal instinct without being a mother.
Mm.
And so I will pour that into others. And I think it's because I don't have a child to pour that into. And so what I've learned, especially because I've been on my journey for, my IVF and fertility journey.
Yes.
Now we're on a different type of journey.
Yes.
And I have learned to take back that energy because unlike your child, who you will pour into endlessly because it's your child and they're going to make mistakes and they're going to sometimes not respect or appreciate what you're doing as a parent. That type of energy between a friend, a colleague, an employee, any of those other relationships isn't sustainable. And I had to learn that you can either change that relationship, because every reason and season relationship doesn't have to end in disaster and a huge blow up. But the nature of the relationship has to change. So I have been actively changing my role of that nurturing thing, especially when there isn't reciprocity there. And that's been an interesting journey. It's been a difficult journey sometimes, but I think that's probably my number one.
Do you notice that as a CEO now that your friends start to dwindle? Because that happened with me. I in my 30s, I had so many friends and you go out and you network and that's my friend and that's my friend and hi, and Susie's over there in the corner and you're saying hi to Susie again. And like, you just have lots of friends. And it's not even just with age. I feel like when you start to level up your life and you get busier in a different way. I lost a lot of friends. And I was like, whoa. But then now at 47, I'm like, wow, the friends that I do have are the ones that matter. They've been with me. They don't care if I made six figures. They don't care if I made, $600 a week. They don't care. They don't care if I live in an apartment now. They don't care if I live in a mansion. They would not care. And those are my friends. Those are the ones that are, you like to say ride or die, but those are my friends. And there's very few. And I think for me, the biggest shocker was, again, that motherly instinct that I also have. And even with my kids grown, I still have that. And I tend to love and give and nurture, and it's been hard, right? To feel like, whoa, well, what happened? So I think that was the biggest wake up call for me as a CEO, and my therapist, because you have a good therapist too. My therapist said it best, is like, as a CEO and you have employees, or you have people who work for you, those are not your children. So stop treating them like that. And that was a aha moment for me, because I have 3 kids. One is in there, and I would do anything for that kid. And it just was an aha moment, because I love that way. I just love people, and if you said it best the other day, like if I was on fire, they wouldn't piss on me to save my life. Some of these people are like, this bitch on fire anyway. She needs to be.
Like, ding dong, she's on fire.
Like, they don't care. They're all, the wicked witch is dead. They would not care. They would not care. And it's one of those things that you're like, whoa, it just was. I've learned so much this year. I've learned so much in buying a building. You just learn as you grow as a CEO. It's a different kind of feeling than just doing a podcast. 'Cause I've learned so much even doing a podcast. Shout out to you, by the way, because I wouldn't have started a podcast 3.5 years ago if Erica didn't kept nudging me. Bitch, when are you gonna start your podcast? Bitch, when are you gonna start your podcast? Bitch, when are you? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I've never even listened to a podcast.
Child. Girl, yes. This is, well, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that, one, your journey in therapy has been amazing to see.
Thank you.
Just the amount of effort that you have put into being a growing person. And I think that's a lot of the reason why your circle has gotten smaller. You can't force other people to grow. And I'm not saying that from like a standpoint of I'm up here looking at you like
No.
you're not growing. It's
Totally.
that there are some people who are very comfortable staying where they're at, and I bless them. But you can't come with me because you have locked in who I was when at this point in my life with who you are and want to continue to be, and I can't stay here. So we're at a crossroads. And so that's just kind of like an organic way of being like, this was a season friend or this was a reason friend. I think all people are reason, but you know, sometimes it's a season. But you were talking about the idea of just people feeling like celebrating if you were burning or something. And
somewhat,
you know, yeah, because you are the villain in their story.
Right.
And I find that that's another thing that I've gotten very comfortable with. Like, I would so much rather be the villain in their story than the fool in mine.
That's why I'm like,
yeah, I would so much rather. That's one of my favorite, like, you know, like just things that I've heard along the way.
Yeah.
Like, I will be the villain in your story all day, every day, as opposed to being the fool in mine, because you have gotten over. I hope you enjoyed what you got out of this situation. Because one thing about me is I never leave people broken. I'm always going to leave you whole. That means that the invoice is going to be paid. That means that you are going to get that last birthday gift. That means that, yes, honey. That means that when I'm cleaning out my closet, you can take a rack of the clothes. You can do whatever you want. You are always going to leave me better than I found you. Ask anybody. I ask anyone to say that I'm wrong.
Clothes from Erica's closet.
I dare.
I mean, please. I think I borrowed a sweatsuit on my way home because I was drunk and like something happened. I had to borrow your pajamas, but I want to take an outfitter too.
Yeah. Well, we're doing another purge. No, I'm being serious because I have so much financial trauma and PTSD. And just the idea of not having something. So I am never going to be the person that is going to take from you and leave you broken. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
I could get more specific, but I'm just going to say that and leave it just 100%.
I love it because this was a couple years ago for me. I was going through a toxic friendship breakup. You know, we all have those friends that are toxic. And every time I hung around this person, she was just bad. Like and I knew she was bad, but like I wasn't leveling up. So bad company corrupts good character. That it is what it is. And that's the truth. So I wasn't leveling up because I didn't want to, like, she was just my friend. Anyway, she betrayed me. Things happen. And you said something to me and you have to help me remember it. But you were like, this bitch had front row seat to your life. And then what was it? You said something about that because she was no longer in my life anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like this friend could be in your life every day, every day, every day. We used to hang out all the time. And she was front row in my life. I was front row in her life.
Yeah.
And I had to let her go to level up myself. Not that she was worse than me. None of that. It's literally she was just bad for me. And I had to let that go to level up my life. That's when I committed to therapy more and all that. And so, you know, the talking about me and all that stuff started to happen. And I'm like, and it sucked. But now she's not front row to my life anymore.
Right. The people who are front row to your life, particularly when you are perhaps in a lower vibrational season, can be like the big antagonizers in the back of your brain. That's something that I've gotten over. I probably got over that at 40. Because what I realized too, and this is such a great example, I had the biggest betrayal. Generally, I can see it coming. This one, I did not see coming at all. And it came in from all sides. It started with like the psychological manipulation, and then it turned into the smear campaign, and then it turned into...
The smear campaigns are a real thing. Shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
The smear campaign.
I could be mayor.
It's like... We could be like president and president and vice. We gonna be on the same ticket, girl. Okay?
My goodness.
Yeah, it was. Then it started. The smear campaign started, and then the social media finstas. Full blown. Started. And it went from like a, word of mouth smear campaign to a full social media campaign. And I couldn't figure it out because, like, even though sometimes like something will go viral or whatever, and you get people who you normally don't have, there's still like a rhythm to like how your comment sections and all of that is happening.
Yeah. And
this was like completely out of rhythm. Like I noticed it. I remember I was out of town with someone who was intimate, or involved kind of peripherally to the situation. And I thought that is such a strange thing for someone to say. And then this account would go, and then that account would go, and then this account would go. And I recognized the account because I remember when the account first started following me because it was something very strange. Again, I'm a big pattern recognitions person, so I knew it was off. Anyway, when everything blew up, because it did, and also you do understand how IP addresses and stuff work, people, right? You know
yeah, trust me, we can track it back to the
Yeah, you understand that there's like nothing,
and you
really
know that being a CEO because you can hire someone to track everything.
Nothing's actually private. So that happened, and I felt really bad for this person, although they tried their best to destroy me. They really did. But I remember saying in that moment, my big one is coming, because every time people go out of their way to try to do something to hurt me or destroy me, then something's going to happen, like something huge happens. And sure enough, within X amount of time, not that long after, I got my first NAACP Image Award nomination, and everything changed.
She looks so beautiful. I hope we could throw a picture of her on the video because I was there to witness it.
Girl, Angel was like, I am coming to LA. Where are we staying? And I was like, girl, this is where we staying. And she was up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe 5, with a mask in my room. I
was excited. I felt like I was winning the award. I'm like, and she's like, you can't actually go to it. And I was like, I know, but I'll be in the vicinity. And I was just hanging out and taking pictures of my girl. I mean, that's what friends do.
Yes.
You get equally excited, just like you got equally excited for me. I remember when I first moved from the closet to the other building, I have video of you just in tears and doing every video. Like, look at my girl. She leveled up in 900 square feet. And now we're sitting at 8,000 square feet.
Yeah.
So it's like this person right here sitting next to me was always there when I was winning, not winning, going through the tough times. We've seen each other through so many transitions. I would say lately, this last year has probably been my toughest. And thank you personally for just being there for me and like hearing me cry and panic and like worry. But also, like you just said, I feel something amazing is about to happen. Something big that I can't. And when you tell it to me, it just confirms what I feel in my heart. DJ Squizzy and I were talking about this because he's like, we don't celebrate our wins enough. And he was saying that about himself because he's DJ'd in every Coliseum here in Colorado, and he opened up for Chris Brown. And now he's like, no, I haven't really celebrated because I was like, it's that mentality we have because we have to keep going. We're afraid it's going to be taken from us.
Yeah.
And so I told him I didn't have a grand opening yet. I didn't have a ribbon cutting ceremony because a part of me keeps pushing it out because I'm like that feeling. But also I've learned with all the therapy, like there's not a day that I don't park in this parking lot that I don't feel so grateful. I feel like I get chills. I'll touch the wall and like I'm just so thankful for how far God has brought me. But also there's that little bit of fear, you know, when you've been on WIC and EBT and you've had your lights shut off.
Yeah.
My son's in the other room. He knows what it's like. We came home on a Thursday. Our lights in my apartment were shut off. And he was trying to turn it back on, the apartment complex. And so I think when you've been through the rut and you have it, you're afraid. And so I'm like, wait, there's so much more to do. There's so much more I got to, you know. So how do you handle that? Because people see the Erica Cobb that is right now shining, gorgeous, looking fly. But I know the Erica Cobb that was bankrupt, lost her job, lost your friends, going through a divorce, lost everything.
Child, yes. Testify. First of all, the reason when you pull into this parking lot and you are looking at this building and you feel that gratitude, that's the reason why you'll always be blessed. People miss that part. And it's the gratitude. It's gratitude is a way of saying, I know that things could be different for me. And this is amazing. Thank you, universe, spirit, God, whatever you believe in. And because of that, that opens the door for you to receive more. So when people are like, yeah, I'm this, you know, like I often see people who are, you know, they're displaying this life. And sometimes, and on both of our pasts, we can attest to this. Sometimes people who may have had a front row seat are showing your life, right? Because you're like, what? Why? My hair, my hairstyle, my outfit, my Jezebel spirit's real, right?
For sure.
Yeah, and I'm not even trying to be shady about
No.
it. I say this as a warning to people. Like, it is important that you are who you are if you want to level up. Because when you are masking in different ways, and trust me, I say this from experience, I was lead masker in charge. That's the reason why my entire life blew up. If I was going around, I was all smoke and mirrors, honey. I was showing a life that I just started living like maybe 2-3 years ago.
Wait, talk about that.
Yes.
Talk about
like
that.
You know, like borrowing of the clothes and showing the labels and being, you know, in the cars and the, you know, oh, let's do this. Let's, you know, all this stuff. I just started living like that authentically, like maybe a few years ago. So when my spot got blown up, oh, it was blown up in front of everybody, honey. I mean, keep in mind, I just posted about the Chicago Tribune. I had newspaper beef. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. So pumpkins, we may look like we are the same age, but I got a whole lot of stuff I could tell you. Okay? I'm just warning you. Because when it's real, it's so much sweeter. I don't think about, you know, I do think that you can't tell from this podcast, but that's because I'm kikiing with my girl. But if you look on like my social and stuff, I'm generally not, when I'm posting things, especially like that are more opulent, I'll just say, it's generally because I am honoring my team. It's not really about me. It's about that I have a team of people who work really hard in order to make these things happen. And if I'm just in hermit mode, not putting these things out there, it's a disservice to them because I know it's a value for my team to have me promote, you know, that way. It just so happens that I'm the center of it. But I don't worry in that way anymore. I walk in faith. Fear is such a small percentage of what I'll allow into my life. And speaking of therapy, so my therapist, because I had a lot, and I still do, I deal with financial PTSD. Remembering what that was like to lose everything, which is another reason why I'm not generally posting that way, because I get scared, you know. And my therapist and my husband, who I just love
Anthony.
Yes,
he became my brother.
Amazing. Yes, he's awesome. And
He's
so
awesome.
we did a couples therapy thing with the two of us and my therapist, and we did like a 4-day retreat with her, and we kind of like broke down what that was about. And she's like, you do understand that you can only at this point in your life fall so much. And what Anthony and I refer to it as is the lever. And you, whether you know it or not, have that lever. It's the security of knowing that you are in a position that has been hard earned in your life, that if everything were to blow up, you can pull that lever and you can have an amazing life. It may not be what you thought it was going to be in terms of like one part of it or another, but you're never going to go back to where you were. Yeah. Because you've created that security in order to make that happen. So you have to really lean into the faith of that. The other thing I want to just say to you too, and for listeners out there, is when you are in a situation where you are not operating in reciprocity, like you are constantly giving more than you're receiving, what happens too is you have to understand that that's where your money blocks lie. Because you aren't going to be gifted, blessed. You're not going to receive things if you are going to take it and hand it over to people who never earned it and don't deserve it. Your blessings will be blocked for that reason alone. My therapist says, like, she's like, so basically you believe in God, ancestors, and the universe. They gave you this fine china and you want to give it to 3-year-olds because they don't have it. They should get china too. I don't want to be the only one with china. If I'm eating, we all get fed. And she's like, no, sometimes they got to starve because they have to learn their lesson too. Yeah. Just like you did. Yeah. So I'm always like, girl, if you don't stop giving your china to 3-year-olds.
Okay. I could talk to you all day.
I know. I mean, I think we did.
And I'm telling you, I have like a whole list of questions I still haven't asked, but I want to know, before I let you go, what is next to come for Erica Cobb? Because, you know, some people are like, is she going to be back on TV? Are you going to be traveling with Claudia Jordan? Are you like, what is to come?
Well, when does this air?
Next week.
Okay. So I'm headed to BravoCon. Claudia and I are going to BravoCon in Vegas. This will be, it'll be my 3rd BravoCon, which I'm super excited about because we just were on Watch What Happens Live. Yes. Like about a month ago.
That was amazing to see you on that.
Girl,
that was just like, I'm like, am I really watching that? Is that AI?
It was very crazy. Well, it was on my vision board.
Wow.
And so we accidentally informed airs every Wednesday on YouTube Live, and we had Kiki Monique, who is the Talk of Shame, and she also does serious reality checked with Real Housewife or former Real Housewife Dorinda Medley. And we were on their show on Sirius when we were in New York after Watch What Happens Live. And I was showing Kiki a photo that was on my manifestation movie. I do manifestation movies.
And it was, I gotta pick mine up a notch.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So I had her picture, Kiki Monique, with Andy Cohen behind the bar at Watch What Happens Live.
Whoa.
And I was telling her that's exactly what happened. So I did that. I was on Watch What Happens Live, got the picture with Andy, and then went over to SiriusXM and was on her show. And I did that movie back in March. So yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's happening. Our team, Comeback TV Presents, is up for an Anthem Award. in the sustainability, environment,
Huge.
and climate category, awareness category. So we'll find out soon if we won that award. We're up against like ABC News and like United Way, so I don't know, but I'm excited. It's
so
an honor to be
tonight and
nominated.
put it on your vision board.
Yes,
It works apparently.
yes, yes.
Okay. Before I let you go, I can ask you a million questions, but there's someone who out there who is younger than you in their 20s, looking up to you. What advice do you have? Someone that was Erica Cobb 20 years, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, even 5 years ago. What advice do you have that, because a lot of kids these days want to go to C and they skip A and B, and then they fail and then they give up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard because you see a lot of, we used to say overnight success is 10 years of hard work and then, you get your big one. But in today's climate, you can potentially have overnight success. I mean, look at Hot Tua girl. Like, you can.
That is true.
Yeah.
We got to stop making stupid people famous, but yeah.
I just want people, if they get that type of opportunity, to have people around them who can help them with that. But the truth is, it's kind of like winning the lottery. That's the reason why so many people win the lottery and within a year they're bankrupt, because you don't have the foundation. I don't have millions of followers. I, have been a national talk show host. I've, been on big platforms. I've done all the things. But I have done that over the course of 25 years. What I have is longevity, because at the end of the day, it's consistency that breeds credibility. So if you're looking for a quick 1 million followers, just be very specific about what it is that you want, because that's not going to come with all the things that you think it's going to come with. Find something that you're truly passionate about, something that you embody in every fiber of your being, and consistently work towards those goals every day, because I assure you from experience that is what's going to get you to a life that you really want to live, and something that you're not waking up every day thinking, is it all going to come to an end? Because when you don't have the foundation, that's when it all can come to a crashing end.
Whew. Last question.
Yeah.
And then I promise you. I feel like a preacher that always says they're going to close and then they never close. I swear I always do that. It's because I grew up in church.
That's the play
I thought,
again.
one more time. Yeah. Okay. For a person that, because we have a lot of women listeners, for a person who is in a toxic friendship and needs to end it, what advice would you give them to help them level up? Or because sometimes it feels like betrayal. That's how I used to feel like I was turning my back on that person.
Yeah.
And I was really hurting myself.
So this is going to be hard for people to hear, I think. You are going to have to trace back your role in it, because it takes two people to engage in a relationship. So there is a role that you played. Now, I'm not saying that it was your role to be toxic. It might be your role that you were primed for this type of dynamic. What I needed to learn is that I wouldn't do some of the things that were done to me ever. But at the end of the day, why did I need that energy? What was that energy offering me? And that's what I had to heal in therapy. And I still do. I often think of other things. So whatever it is, whether it's your sense of, needing to belong because you don't, or, there was someone who was gassing you up. Oftentimes they're doing that because they see your light and they want to be on that starship with you when you take off. And what they're doing is just holding you down because there's a capacity to your starship. So if you need the hype people, that's all they're doing is bringing a lot of hype, then there's something that you need to fix within yourself to make yourself a little more whole, so you're not so susceptible to these types of relationships.
Ooh, on that note, Erica Cobb, thank you so much for being part of my life. thank you for being part of the podcast, because I know you're taking time out. This happened within a matter of 24 hours. So thank you so much for last minute. But thank you for being your light and just who you are. And it's been a blessing to watch and see you evolve and just have front row seat in that. And I just know whatever is going to happen next is going to be great. And I'm just blessed to be part of that, even if it's just near it, around it. So thank you for being you, being your light. And I can't wait till you have twins, because we'll be on here talking about twins, because we'll talk. That's a whole different podcast I think people need to hear.
Yeah.
So thank you. I love you.
I love you. I just want to say to you and your listeners, I think that there are just so few times in your life that you have a cosmic connection with people. And from the moment, and I remember the day that we met, I just knew that there was something there with you. And what I love about our relationship is that, like you were saying earlier, it was never like you were trying to be all in my grill or I was trying to be all in your grill. Our evolution of our friendship dynamic was very organic. It was very natural. And when all the dust settled from our individual paths, it was literally the two of us standing.
We came out of the storm. Think about the storm that happens, and the two people that survive, they're like, oh, bitch, are you there? Hello? Oh, caca. And then she said, caca. And we both holding hands, just still trying to survive.
Literally.
I'm like, are your lights still on? Yeah. Your light's still on? Yeah. Okay. I'll do your facial next week.
Yes. And sometimes it bees like that. Sometimes it really is.
Yeah.
But I will ride to the ends of the earth for you. Okay.
Thank you.
And I am proud of how you show up.
Thank you.
Regardless of what comes your way. When negative energy comes your way, you are a beacon of light. You are such an amazing example. And I love that regardless of anything, that people always, the real ones really see you. You don't have to chase what is divinely yours. And you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Your portfolio of work speaks for itself. So we just gonna stay quiet. We are going to raise our glasses. Let me get a little bit more. And this is actual champagne. Okay. It's from the Champagne region. I just want y'all to know that this is a 2024 Gatnoy. Okay. It's a Grand Cru Rosé that we're drinking, because we're at this point where, we know the real from the imitation.
Ooh,
so it's not the bubbles. It's not the white sparkling. It's from the Champagne region, because this is authenticity in action. I love you. Congratulations.
I love you. Well, that concludes Wednesday night church service, y'all. So love you guys. I'll see you next Wednesday. Have a great week. Erica, I love you. Mwah. Cheers.
Cheers.